What up, gents? Welcome to TSG Uncut. I am your host, Sean C. Welcome to my first episode of TSG Car Stories. And the story I'm going to tell y'all today is how I learned a valuable lesson about dating really young girls. And when I say that, I'm not talking about at my current age. I'm talking about a lesson I learned when I was in my mid-20s, okay? So I was living in upstate New York. I was an instructor up there. That's where I was teaching at. I wound up meeting this beautiful young Puerto Rican girl. Now, she was about 20 years old and I was about 26 at the time. And I met her online. You know, everything was going good. We were talking back and forth. The vibe was good. The flow was good. And she was pretty, man. I'm talking about, like, this young girl was gorgeous. She was on the slender fine side, but you know what though? Like, gorgeous. It was going well, man. It was going well. I mean, we were talking, we were going out on a few dates. It was vibing really good, you know? It was going so well with this girl. I wind up getting, you know, she took me to her house and I got to meet her mom. And now imagine, if you will, she's 20, I'm 26. The mom is like 36. Now, the mom wasn't slim fine. She was like slim thick fine. You know what I mean? Like, mom and daughter could have both got it. You know what I'm saying? It was like one of them deals. It was like, God dang, man. And the mom was single too. So I know, you know, dudes are like, man, why you didn't get with the mom then? Why you didn't get with the mom? Like, listen, at the time, at 26 years old, I still had a hard time going above 32 talking to women. Now, I had already had, well, you got to imagine, I had just came out of a divorce and it was tough, man. That divorce took a toll on me. I have two daughters, you know, and twin daughters. I have twin daughters. I had twin daughters, right? And I hadn't really told her about the twin daughters, because, you know, we were still getting to know each other. And I thought everything was going good, you know? It was going so well, I think she was like, you know, ready to move on to the next phase of talking about this thing. We did talk a little bit about it. And then when we did, come to find out, she had never done anything before, okay? Yeah. Not only was she 20, but she had never been with a dude like that before. This was tough. I was like, okay, I can deal with this. I'll work with her time. You know, it was no big deal. I felt like she was smart enough, you know, she seemed to have everything good, you know, humble girl that you could laugh with, have a good time, but she wasn't like over the top. Very humble young lady. So I was willing to wait to her time. That wasn't a big deal. She caught me with something. She was like, yeah, you know, like, I can't wait to have kids, this, that, and the third. And I was like, okay, all good, you know. I expected that from a 20-year-old, that she ready and expecting to have kids, all that good stuff, right? I told her that, I said, well, yeah, you know, I got my twin daughters, but, you know, I'm open to have more kids. And she was like, wait, you got kids? And I was like, yeah, I got twin daughters, you know, like, you know, I think she knew I was married too, which, if you knew anything about the early 2000s, having a divorce on your record was bad back then. Early 2000s, divorce was bad, man. You know, you said you had a divorce, women didn't want to holler at you. I had told her she didn't mind and care about the divorce, but when I told her I had twin daughters, she didn't like that much at all, bro. I'm serious. She was like, oh, yeah, well, her whole demeanor changed. Like, everything changed in that one moment. She was like, I'm sorry, but like, I want a dude that ain't never had kids before. And I said, why is that? What she wound up telling me was that the reason why she felt that way is because in her head, she thought that if I'm with a dude who never had kids before, it'll be his first time too, and then he can experience having kids with me. This is retarded logic, right? Because when it comes to us dudes, having kids is still a great thing, but to have a man that already has experience raising kids, I think is a bonus, because all the stuff that she don't really know, I already know, you know? So, but in her head, and like a lot of young ladies' heads, there's this fantasy of, well, it's gonna be, you know, a great experience for the both of us. So needless to say, she stopped talking to me, right? She stopped talking to me. She didn't want to talk to me no more. And it really sucks because we got along so good, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking about like being with another person, like settling or getting married again, but I had a gem. You know what I mean? That young lady was a gem. With that being said, it didn't work out, you know? And that sucks, man. Young girls have in their head fantasy. And we talk about it all the time on this channel. But there's a part 2 to this story, all right? There's a part 2 to this story that I'm gonna tell y'all the next time, because there's some irony in the part 2 to this story. But the moral of the story is, if you're gonna talk to younger women, this is why younger women need to really have somebody, a man that is a little bit older, so that his maturity level is on par where she's at, and hopefully just a little bit more. Because in the part 2 of this story, you know, she actually learned a very valuable lesson. And I'll tell y'all that one on the next episode. Until next time, live your best life.